Well, hello, and we're glad to have you back. It's been a interesting couple 3 days in that the weather has been again back in sub-zero. Low this morning was like 7 degrees, and it's just been miserable to try to do anything, just to be honest with you. Well, last night, let me kind of catch up where we're at. Jet, she's got a bit of a foot problem going on. At first I thought maybe she had stepped in a hole, because unfortunately there's quite a few of those on that end of the pasture, and I've tried to fix them and plug them up and everything else, and haven't had much luck. They keep getting dug out by whatever it is, skunks, possum, fox, I don't know. Anyway, so I was kind of watching her. So last night I went down, of course didn't have my camera with me, and I was able to feed her some cubes kind of off by herself, so that I could try to get a look at her foot. Now, she lifted her foot for me better than just about many horses do, but unfortunately she really wanted to lean on me. I managed to get the hoof sprayed really well with some antifungal spray to help maybe get into where the fungus is and help that foot issue. But I had forgotten my hoof knife, and what's happened is her hoof has gotten packed up with mud because it's been so muddy, and then the outside layer of that mud is dried, but the inside layer is still damp. It holds moisture inside, and that's where the fungus and bacteria start to build up. So I have my hoof knife tonight. We had issues getting water to everyone last night, so tonight I'm starting on the outside. I've got to get the cows a bale of hay. I'll get them fed, and then I'll see if I can do something with her foot during that process. Well, the temperature says that it's 30-something degrees out here, but whew, it sure don't feel like it. Almost feels colder tonight than it was last night at this time, even though I know it's not. Does that make sense? Anyway, back to the business at hand. I've got the cattle feed loaded on the tractor. Last night this spray kept freezing before I could get down to the cows, so I had to carry it in my coat. That worked. And we'll get the rams fed. Just that's kind of funny. All right, their water's still good. All right, here we go, guys. That red one right there got in a headbutting competition with somebody. Broke off one of his scurs, his horn scurs. He was bleeding pretty good last night. I know that it looks like a lot of times what we're feeding is corn chops, and it is, but it's mixed with what's called a balancer feed. Balancer feed lets you take a cheaper feed that may have lacking in vitamins or lacking in fat, minerals, proteins, and it allows you to take that cheaper feed and bring the protein and fat levels and the mineral content up where it needs to be. That's those little pellets. That's the little pellets that you can see in there, is that balancer feed. So it does about an 80-20 mix and pretty cost effective. Sorry, I'm having trouble with my camera this evening. Broke one of my camera holders, but anyway, it does do a good job. Now we climb back on this noisy tractor and we go get the pigs fed. They're on a every other night ration. Every other night they basically get just pretty much a corn chop, which they love. Other nights it is a pellet and chop mix that they also love. So anyway, enough of that. All right, let's go get some hay. So we'll get the cows fed, and I'm gonna see again if I can kind of lure Jet off away from everybody. Oh, they keep dragging these things everywhere. I know, yes, they need new feeders. Yeah. Yep. I know. And they're getting some this year. Sorry. I'm slapping y'all with buckets and everything else. I don't mean to. Alright. See if I can grab Jet before she gets up in the group with everybody else. It may be too late. No. Where's she at? There's my spray. There's my cubes. Alright, where's she at? Where's she at? Where's my Jet? There she is. Alright, so maybe I'll make this work. I'll do kind of the same thing I did last night and see if she'll let me doctor that foot again. Hey Jet, you're walking a little better. Yes, you are. Come on, right here. Yeah. Right there. Oh yeah, that's my finger. Yeah. Yeah. Will you let me see that foot again? Huh? Will you let me see that foot again? You did such a good job last night. Oh, it's a knee thing. Yeah. That's what it is. Okay, yep. Yep. You fell down. Okay, well. Yep. That hoof still needs to be trimmed, be cut and cleaned out. You let me do it again? Huh? You let me do it again? Like we did last night? Yeah, I know. Okay. Not tonight. She says I really like those cubes, but not tonight. Jet, come on. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. You did so good last night. Right here. Jet, hey. Right here. Right here. Right here. There they are. You did so good last night. Okay. Let me at least get a spray or two. If you won't let me. Here. Yep, she's not even. She did so good last night. But she's not having it tonight. Alright. Well, crud. Okay, so I guess we talked to the vet about getting some antibiotics. Okay, well, I'm going to get this hay put out, and yeah, can't see me that way either. I'm gonna get this hay put out and get the water tanks filled. They'll be looking for that more than anything. And I tell you what, this thing of having to use a vet to get antibiotics for anything, dog, cat, sheep, goat, cow, horse, doesn't matter. It's kind of ridiculous. I guess the government decided that farmers either not smart enough to know when to use antibiotics, or a dead animal's better than a sick one. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's kind of ridiculous. I don't blame the vets, because I know several of them, and most of them didn't want it either, because a lot of them are short-staffed as it is. Anyway, it is what it is. well, I'm gonna get this water filled, and then I gotta get back to the house, get started making feed buckets for everybody else. I'm gonna put this down, get this done, get back to the house, start the second half, or second 2/3, whatever you want to call it. Well, I was hoping that would go better with Jet, but it is what it is. I'm back up at the barn, so I've got to start getting feed buckets ready. Everybody else will be here in just a little bit to start feeding, so I've got some prep work to do. Yeah, it's kind of a dreary, wet day today, and been spending a bit of the morning just kind of taking care of some things in the house and stuff like that. It's a little cool, but for this time of year, and considering the weather we've had over the last week or so, we'll take it. Much better than anything we've dealt with in the last 2 weeks. We've got some something to deal with in that we've got a cow or two that thinks they need to be over at our neighbor's place. Yep, so it's time to do a little fence work and try to prevent that from happening with cattle. Of course, you're talking about a 1,000-pound animal, so just about anything you do with fences with cattle is more of a suggestion than it is a guarantee. But you're riding on one of my tools, my bundle of T-posts. So we're gonna get the T-posts loaded up, just like so. I have the fence pliers already on the tractor. I've got my clips in my pocket, and all I need now is to get the sledge, and we'll see if we can get this fence better. That's Jet's little one right there coming running up to meet us. We're pretty sure it's feeding time. Even the little ones get excited. He's doing really good. Watch out, guys. Usually the movement of the forks can get them out of the way pretty easy. Watch out, Layla. Come on. Watch out. Quick, coming up the works. Hey, Jet. How you doing, girl? Well, Jet is getting around much better. We still do need to get that foot cleaned out, but apparently that really wasn't her problem. Apparently her problem is that one right there, that red and white face. Yeah, so ever so often the cows, just like the bulls, will decide that they need to well, establish a dominance order, and in doing that, the younger ones will often challenge the older ones, basically to shove-in match. Whoever wins takes over that position in the herd. So, unfortunately, Layla, who is about 4 years old, decided it was her turn to take on Jet, who's about 11. And still haven't been able to tell if Jet managed to hold her position or if Layla is now the dominant. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move this hay bale, hay rack, because I'll bring them another bale of hay tonight. There's not much left. They still have this scruffy bale they're working on just to have a variety. So we're gonna move it out over here where we haven't had some in a while. Yeah, right in here. Now, we have a spot at the fence here where a couple of these girls have went visiting over to the neighbors. Now, the neighbor ain't worried about it. It doesn't bother him much. Just as long as I let him know they're there, he helps me keep an eye out for them, and also helps move them over whenever I need assistance. So I always appreciate him very, very much. You can see right here the section of fence that's getting kind of weak from them pushing on it so much. So I'm going to try to secure this a little bit better. I've got to get some new clips up here to keep this up a little bit higher, and probably another T-post there, another one there, and maybe another one over there, just to try to get this back up where it's not so easy for them to cross. There's other spots, there are other spots, but this has been their favorite. You can tell by the mud line that they've been walking this fence a whole lot due to a couple of bulls that are over there. We do have a bull coming, just hasn't got here yet. He needs to get here pretty soon because they're getting anxious. Anyway, the guy we're getting the bull from wanted to have him tested and checked out real good before he brought him, which I appreciate that. But we do need to get him here as soon as we can. I'll be the first to tell you that trying to do YouTube videos this time of year is not easy. You could almost definitely call it the wintertime blues, because you spend so much time, and the weather just makes doing the necessities so much harder that it's challenging. Since this is a little rocky, I'm going to have to get a little height up here to be able to get up here and get this started. What I was saying about doing the YouTube in the wintertime, once lambing season's almost over with, which we're just ending up group 5, group 6 is going to be more of early spring, because they are our first timer yearlings, so they're going to be a little bit later. I'm just afraid it gets boring, because it's basically the same thing. Put out hay, put out feed, drag water to everybody, you know, and so it does make it harder, because there's not a lot of different things that are going on in the wintertime. See those little wavy sections in the wire? I call those tension crimps. I don't know really what they're called. What they do is they allow the fence some expandability before it breaks. So if it gets hit with a heavy load, it's more likely to stretch and give some than it is just to snap, which is the problem you often run into with barbed wire. Tree falls on it, it just snaps. But the tension crimps just gives it a little leeway, so it'll give a lot before it breaks. Well, that's about as good as it's going to get. Like I said, a fence is just a suggestion for a 1,000-pound animal. It's not any kind of guarantee. I've pulled all this up. This has been one of their favorite crossing places, apparently. There's still a couple of spots down there. Most of that was damaged during the flood that we had a few years ago. And fortunately, there's shrub on the outside that kind of helps support it, helps keep it up, but it still needs to be dealt with. It's just not going to get dealt with today. So I've gathered up my stuff. We're going to head back to the house. It's almost time to start feeding, so we're going to start working on that. We'll call this the review of the troops. Hey guys. Oh, and gals. Sorry. What are you looking at? That one's a knothead. That one really thinks she's so. What are you doing? You chasing the tractor? Oh, you chasing my tractor? Well, everybody's a bit calmer now that we've had feeding time done. Everybody's up in the feeders and hay mangers. So now it's time to get the pigs. Ooh, I made that. Time to get the pigs, the rams, and the cows. And then I'll also need to feed the rams over on the other side of the house, our breeder rams, because tonight's their night.